The church got its start down on Old Katy Road. That's now Interstate 10. And it started there in the Chapman's Cafe. It met there for a number of months. And then it moved to one of the elementary schools in what is now Town and Country. And so it was there until the property here was given to the church. It was given by the woman who had the bird sanctuary and owned all of this property. So fortunately, the land was gifted to the church. What is now Wesley Hall was the first church's sanctuary.
Well, we moved here in 1972 when Dad was appointed pastor here. We were coming to the big city. We'd grown up in small towns, and it was a little shock to our system at first, but it quickly became home to us.
In '79, spring of '79 was the fire. It was an arson. It burnt a number of wings of the church, of offices, library, Sunday school rooms, and it burnt a huge hole in Wesley Hall.
And one night, Dad got a call on Sunday night that the bird sanctuary was burned. Well, he took off, and then we all took off, and when we got here, we saw that it wasn't the bird sanctuary, it was the church.
And it was after that then that Wesley Hall was built, the gymnasium was built, and this campus and what is now the two-story office and music wing was built.
It was, again, a big shock, but the church rallied around, and now we ended up with the Family Life Center. We were able to grow and build back something even better.
Well, when I got appointed to Memorial Drive, I was incredibly excited. I have obviously heard a lot about the church, and I had actually sang here in college. I remember getting here in 2014 and just being wowed by all the incredible stuff that was going on, bigger than life. I'd never been a part of a church this big.
When I was in seminary, Dr. Gene Craig was one of those people that we learned about as far as great preaching is concerned. And so I knew a lot about Memorial Drive United Methodist Church more than 30 years ago. It has a rich history, not only locally, but across the denomination. So I was excited to be considered as the next senior pastor.
I've been a part of this place as a student, as an intern, and now as an employee for, going on 22 years now. And that's been an incredibly beautiful journey for me to have been on. So what makes MDUMC unique is how welcoming it is to everyone. And I've been really, really blessed to have been a part of it for so long.
During my tenure here, I have been blessed to have three great pastors in Dr. Craig, Dr. Simmons, and now Dr. Robbins. Each of them has challenged me and strengthened my faith. Each of them has transformed my life in ways I could never imagine when I joined this church. They have, in their own way, helped me to learn how to get involved and serve this church and others, love my neighbor, and to be more Christ-like in everything I do every day.
Serving Memorial Drive United Methodist Church has been the greatest joy in my life. It set a foundation for me in ministry. It raised me as a pastor. I got here when I was 25. I left when I was 34. It has made me the pastor that I am today, and it has shown me just how important it is that a love for God is paired with a love for neighbor.
I think MDUMC has a community aspect to it that not a lot of churches have. I think there's a lot of benefits to how large MDUMC is, not only in our resources and our ministry, but also it's unique to find a large church with a small church kind of feel, that community, neighborhood kind of church feel, and MDUMC has that spirit about it. It feels like a place where really anybody can belong, and that's unique. A lot of churches don't have that.
One of the great highlights of the last number of years has been the opening of, used to call it the Connection Center, now it's the West Campus.
Then in 2001 or 2, we bought the West Campus. as we celebrate 60 wonderful years of the church's existence, we also celebrate 10 years of the Journey Worship. And that was in an old
shopping center. An old CVS pharmacy that used to be an Eckerd's pharmacy that used to be a latest and greatest video before that.
I remember being in college and being told that MDUMC was launching this new thing called The Journey, and they had bought the shopping center out. And I was like, what in the world? A church buying a shopping center?
And so we gutted the space and began to design it around being a place for worship and for children, with opportunities for groups like the Agape Choir and others to do performances in there. And we just didn't know how quickly we would even outgrow this new space.
I think one of the things that's extraordinary about this church is that it has 2 campuses, so it's had a clear vision about how to reach people in the name of Jesus Christ for a long time. 2 distinct styles of worship, 2 different campuses that provide opportunities in a variety of ways to be in ministry, with a fine arts center, with great youth ministry and children's ministry on both campuses.
I've seen Memorial Drive change in a lot of ways. I've seen them become more mission-minded, more outreach-centered, focusing on the people outside the walls of our church, people across on the other side of town or on the other side of the world. I've seen a lot more outward focus than inward focus.
Being a member for so long, there are so many great memories and services and things I remember. And it's hard to choose a greatest. But if I were to pick one that has been most influential in my life, it has been how MDUMC responds to disasters. Hurricanes Katrina, Ike, and Harvey have all affected many of our neighbors on the Gulf Coast. And MDUMC stepped up and provided help immediately. Time after time, our members recognize the need to help their neighbor, and they respond in extraordinary ways. To me, this is what community is all about.
One of the things that's most special to me here, it's our sanctuary. It's such a beautiful space. It always feels holy. If you go in the afternoon, I love to go in there during a thunderstorm when the colors of the windows are so beautiful and you just sit down and you know it's a place where God resides.
I think the future of MDUMC is brighter than ever. I know that Houston is changing. It's the most diverse city in the United States. So I think the future involves us being open-minded to the ways that we can connect with this community. It's going to change, and change for good. And I think that we as a church are equipped with the staff and leadership that we have to look towards the future.
You know, always when you celebrate a church's anniversary and the great 60 years, you celebrate a great heritage, you celebrate a great legacy on a church's anniversary, but at the same time, you still look forward. And I'm excited about the future of our church, about the vision of our church, about the possibility of just remaining one of the great, strong, United Methodist churches in the United States, not just one of the leaders of our conference, but the whole United Methodist Church. So I think we have a great future. I'm excited to still be here on staff, even part-time, but to participate in a number of different ways in the life and ministry of this great church.